Hello and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski of the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how are you this week?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. So today, we're going to be talking about perspective and how important it is to change your perspective from time to time. Now, Chip, you do a lot with this.
Absolutely. We are basically our own worst enemies because we let our minds go a million miles per minute, and a lot of what we think about is stuff that is totally out of our control that just keeps going on and going on and going on. So I love talking about putting things back in simple perspective, and if you can do that, life is going to be a whole lot happier for you. So one of the tools that we're going to be talking about today is something that I actually use every morning, and it's called a video called Enjoy the Ride. And there's a pretty cool story behind this. This is a PowerPoint presentation that's set to the music of The Impossible Dream played on a harp. And all it is a slideshow with about 30 slides in it that have sayings as this music is playing. And we're going to be talking about these different sayings as we go through this. But what happened was I had a friend of mine probably about 10, 12 years ago that emailed me the link to this PowerPoint presentation. And I liked it so much that I started watching it every morning as soon as I got down to my computer, because it just put a really, really neat perspective on the whole day, bringing things back to simplicity before things got complicated. And as we go through these slides, we'll be talking about that. But what happened was I watched it for a few months, and all of a sudden, the link didn't work anymore. However, it was a link to a church site out somewhere in the Midwest. So I emailed them immediately and I said, what happened to Enjoy the Ride, which is the name of the video? I said, it's something that I start every day with. I miss it really bad. And they actually emailed me the whole PowerPoint presentation with the music and all that. And I liked it so much that I just buried it on my computer. I watch it every day. I have it buried on my website so that I can share it with people, because I do use it when I give my presentations, really just to set a nice, easy perspective to what we're talking about. So it's just been so cool doing that. And so why don't we just dig into some of these slides? One of the things that we all worry about is our own image. And one of my favorite slides on there is what other people think about you is none of your business. And by that, I mean the only person that you control is that person in the mirror. So what do you think about that one?
That's it. I love that concept. People spend far too much time worrying about what people think of them. And from a psychological basis, when people are focusing on what others think, generally it's a sign that they're not happy with themselves. And that's what you really need to work on, is to be happy with who you are. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. If they like you, you'll attract them. If not, not. But if you're happy with who you are and you look in the mirror and you like the person looking back, that's half the battle right there.
That's what's so important. It's the first slide of the whole presentation is take a 10 to 30 minute walk every day, and while you walk, smile. Smiling is the most important thing you can possibly do whenever you're feeling down. As you mentioned, one of the best things you can do is do it in the mirror. However down you are, if you smile at yourself uncontrollably, you are going to feel better for a little while. And one of the coolest things you can do is while you're walking and you're smiling, smile at other people, and they're going to start smiling back at you too.
Yeah, smiles are contagious. The more you smile, the more you want to smile, and the more others smile around you.
Absolutely. One of the other things you can do is, one of the slides says, try to make at least 3 people smile each day. And I love that smile because it's just a cute little girl, probably 2 years old, looking up at a frog statue in a park or something like that. And that makes me smile every day when I watch that.
Yes, people underestimate the power of a smile. because a smile actually changes you. It changes the way you move. It changes the way you sound. So even if you're talking to somebody on the phone and you're smiling, they can hear that you're smiling.
Absolutely.
And it really does just overtake your whole being.
Yeah. Another slide is actually a picture of a swing. And when you look at a swing hanging on a rope, it looks like a smile. And the caption on that slide is no one is in charge of your happiness except you.
All right. Chip, you're fading in and out. Can you give us that caption again?
It says no one is in charge of your happiness except you.
Excellent. That's something that a lot of people have a problem with, is that they have the power to make themselves happy. They have the power to make themselves successful. They have the power to achieve their goals. It's all about you. You can do this all for yourself. You can't rely on someone else to do it for you. You have the power to do it all within you.
All you have to do is flip that switch.
That's it. And a big part of that is the belief. A lot of people don't think that they can do it. And, we've said this before, but it's an old Henry Ford quote. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
Absolutely. Another good one related to the smiles. Another slide says just smile and laugh more. And we've talked about this before, but if you smile and laugh more, it will keep the energy vampires away.
That's absolutely true. And, by energy vampires, let's just clarify this a little bit. We all have people in our lives. Oh, how are things doing? Oh, it's terrible. Oh, nothing's going right. And these people just suck the energy from you. They're always down. They're always pessimistic. And if you can keep yourself up, the more you smile, the more you laugh, well, they don't want to be around that because they want somebody who's going to feed this downer attitude of theirs. So by putting forward the smiles, the laughs, the positive attitude, not only does it keep you up, it keeps these people who would suck that from you away.
Yeah, you either light up the room walking in or walking out. But one of the cool things about doing that with an energy vampire is you may just signal the end of them being an energy vampire just by the way you handle yourself that way. Because one of two things is going to happen when you smile and laugh with an energy vampire. They are either going to walk away or they're going to change their tune and they're going to be a little bit more happy with you. And so that's one of the cool things about that is you can actually turn an energy vampire around if they choose to do so just by you smiling at them.
Absolutely. But actually, what you just said is very important, is if they choose to do so. Anybody can change, but you can't change people. They have to want to change themselves. You have to want to change yourself. If there's something you don't like about yourself, you have to say, yes, I am going to change. I'm ready for the change, and take steps to do it. Change doesn't just happen. It takes an effort, but you have to want to change.
Yep. I mean, that goes right back to the no one is in charge of your happiness except you. That means an energy vampire also. If they want to stay down the whole time, that's totally up to them. Another one that I really like a lot, because again, getting back to being our own worst enemies and thinking about things too much, the slide says, don't take yourself so seriously. No one else does. And that is so true.
It really is. When you take yourself too seriously, you tend to close yourself off. Be open to experiences. Be open to laughter. There's an old joke, A friend will pick you up when you fall. A best friend will stand there pointing and laughing. And the whole point of the joke is that, yes, there is something funny in everything. You have to be willing to look for it. If you're not, you risk becoming one of those energy vampires. You want to be laughing. You want to find things that'll make you laugh and smile.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, most of the times when we're taking ourselves seriously, it's about something that we have no control over, or it's something that's happened in the past. And if you want to continue to kick yourself when you're down about something that there's nothing you can correct, that is your choice. But it's just so important. I mean, I think I've talked about Wayne Dyer's analogy before of the boat and the wake. And your past is a trail, just like a wake behind a boat. And the energy that drives the boat is whatever energy you put into that. And so if you put the energy into the boat that's negative based upon the wake, which, by the way, the wake can't possibly drive the boat because it's just a trail. But if you put negative energy into that, that's going to get you. And the bottom line is, most of that negative energy is taking the past way too seriously. And when you have absolutely no control over what's happened, you can learn from it, but it's really, really important to just switch that around to a smile.
Right. And if you spend time living in the past, that's time you're not in the present. And we've talked about mindfulness and being aware of where you are now. The more time you spend dwelling on the past, the less time you spend enjoying the now, and the less time you spend planning for the future. So you really do want to say, the past is past. There's nothing you can do about it. Learn from it and move forward.
Absolutely. And one of the things that is buried there that we think about in the past is comparing stuff, comparing what other people have to what we have and so on, or prejudging people based upon looking at them or this or that or whatever. And one of my favorite slides there says, don't compare your life with others. You have no idea what their journey is all about.
That's very true. People tend to put forward an image. You have no idea what somebody has gone through to get to where they are, what tragedies they may have overcome, how hard they've worked. There's, I always use the example of an iceberg. You're only seeing the top 10%. 90% of it is hidden under the surface. You don't see that. People are the same way. You don't see the bulk of what's going on, especially in today's world when everybody posts on social media. We think, oh, everybody posts everything on social media. I have a good image of who they are. But no, people are selective about what they're posting. And they're posting things to make themselves look and feel good. So you're not seeing the whole story.
Absolutely. No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, and show up. Talk about motivation. And the picture of that is a little boy who's probably about 3 or 4 years old, and he's dressed up and he's got rubber boots on and he's stomping in a puddle like he's walking down the street like a little kid. It is so cool. These slides are terrific. And by the way, if you do want a copy of this, you can feel free to email me at chip@chipj.com, and I'm happy to share this with you.
Yeah, Woody Allen famously said 80% of success is showing up.
Yeah.
And it's really true. If you're not present, if you're not there, you can't succeed.
Absolutely.
Another quote I'm very fond of that's applicable to this was Wayne Gretzky, who said, you miss 90% of, you miss all of the shots you don't take. You have to be in there pushing. You have to be there involved in your own life if you want something to happen.
Absolutely. You don't have to win every argument. Agree to disagreements. And I think that's a picture where there's a couple of wolves with each other, like just chawing at each other with mouths and stuff like that. You know how dogs play and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is you're not always going to agree with somebody, but they have their point of view, you have your point of view, and everybody is correct. And as we get back to the 7 habits of highly effective people, seek first to understand and then to be understood. And sometimes you won't come to a solution, but if you agree to disagree with each other, that is the best way to, in a confrontational situation that seemingly has no resolution to it at this point in time.
Yes, you're never going to agree with people on everything. There's always going to be some difference of opinion. There's no reason for you to let that difference of opinion spill over into the rest of your relationship or the rest of your life. I mean, unfortunately, we're seeing the opposite right now, especially with political opinions, where people are just arguing for the sake of arguing, and they're cutting off relationships. And, if that's what you believe, I can't be friends with you. I can't listen to you. It's like, no, everybody has an opinion, and you have the right to your opinion. I have the right to my opinion. Everybody's got the right to their own opinions. Absolutely. You don't have to agree with everything, and you certainly don't need to be offended if someone doesn't agree with you. Just say, okay, we disagree, and move on.
I think we should make a law that every politician that gets into office has to watch this video before they take office.
I think we should make a law that they have to watch it every morning.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. So, again, getting into the proactivity thing is when you wake up in the morning, complete the following statement. My purpose is to blank, blank, blank today. We've talked before about going to bed with tomorrow on your mind from a positive standpoint and getting up the next day ready to go. And so if you've been looking forward to something since yesterday, the best thing to do is just get up and reinforce that every morning, saying, my purpose is to today, and enthusiastically push ahead.
Yeah, know what's coming for the day. Be excited about it. We all need something to be excited about that makes us want to jump out of bed. And if you can start your day by saying, this is what it is, I'm getting moving on it, it gets your heart pumping. It gets your energy flowing first thing. So you hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And by the same token, that also ties into one of the other slides, which I'm very fond of, that when you go to sleep at night, say, today I accomplished. So you're sort of bookending your day with what you're excited about and what you're proud of. And both of those go into creating that positive mindset that keeps you motivated. And each day it helps because I was excited about this yesterday. I accomplished it. Now I'm excited about this today. I'm going to get this done. And it's very motivating.
Absolutely. And another thing to get you going, too, is really just appreciating what you have and enjoying it in the present. One of the slides that I think is really, really cool, it says, burn the candles, use the nice sheets. Don't save it for a special occasion. Today is special. This moment is special. It's so important.
Yeah, that's something to remember. I remember as a kid, there was always the good china that only came out for company. Or there were the special towels that were only put in the bathrooms when company was coming. Or there was always something for when company came. And I found people do this a lot less often now. They're using their good things on an everyday basis because people have come to realize if all you're looking for is that something special that's coming, it's never here. You're never paying attention to what's going on now. Now is the most special time of all because it's never going to come again. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's nice to look forward to vacations and things like that that are definitely off in the future, but it is so important to enjoy the present moment. We talked about the first slide was take a 10 to 30-minute walk every day, and while you walk, smile. Sometimes after this video, I take slide number 2 into essence, and slide number 2 is about contemplation and just taking a deep breath. It says, sit in silence for at least 10 minutes each day. Meditate or whatever you want to do. But if you just sit in silence and just think about what you just watched, it's really, really important.
Yeah, the importance of silence can't be overstated, especially in today's world when we're inundated with 500 channels of information and your phone in your hand, always getting emails and texts and social media messages. It's very important to shut down, to take 10 minutes and shut the world out and just relax and enjoy what you have and appreciate. And a lot of people have trouble quieting their mind. I know I do. It's okay to let your mind go wherever it's going to go, as long as you're focusing on your breathing, you're focusing on the moment, and not letting your mind stress you out.
Absolutely. And another great mind exercise, talking about appreciation. One of the slides says, dream more while you are awake. And that imagination, which we've talked about that before, I think we did a whole segment on that, is just so important to be imagining, innovating, and that kind of thing, because talk about self-worth and that kind of thing. Just by dreaming, you realize all the great things that you've done and what you're looking forward to.
Yes, it's very important to be able to think of these things, visualize them. Where is it that you've been? Where is it that you want to go? I know I've had, on many occasions, I'll be cleaning out my office and I'll come across some work that I did years ago that I've since forgotten about. And I'll look at it and go, oh my God, this was really good. Like, how did I do that? It's important to remember that you can do these things. You've already accomplished things. You're going to accomplish more. Absolutely. I read a statistical analysis. It said the odds of your great-grandparents meeting, falling in love, and producing your grandparents, them meeting, falling in love, producing your parents, them meeting, falling in love, and producing you, is already, the odds against it are infinite. So you have already beaten infinite odds just by being here.
We are all miracles in action.
Yes. If you can beat those odds just by existing, imagine what else you can do.
Life. One of my favorite slides, after the slide that says try to make at least 3 people smile each day, this is the longest slide in there. But again, talking about perspective, realize that life is a school and you are here to learn, pass all your tests. Problems are simply part of the curriculum that appear and fade away like algebra class, but the lessons you learn will last a lifetime.
Yes, we've talked about the importance of always learning. I seem to be falling into a whole bunch of quotes today, but as we're talking about these, they keep popping into my head. Mark Twain famously said, I never let my schooling interfere with my education. Education isn't something that just happens in a classroom. It happens everywhere. The more you see, the more you do, the more you read. It's experiencing life. Everything you experience is a teaching moment.
Absolutely. One slide, we've talked a lot about how we're all stuck in modern technology and this and that and whatever. One of the calming slides there says, your job won't take care of you when you are sick. Your friends will. Stay in touch. And it's just so important to stay in touch. Phone calls, meetings, that kind of thing, face to face. It's so important. Nobody can stay happy alone. You need other people to help you out with doing that just by keeping in touch. Friendships are so important.
Yes, grab a cup of coffee with someone, catch a ball game, do something. Nobody ever said on their deathbed, I wish I spent more time in the office.
I don't think so. Unless that's where they died.
Right, yeah. I mean, people's regrets are always not spending more time with their family, not enjoying more, not doing more. Don't let that be a regret. Take care of it now. Do it.
Life may not seem fair, but it's still good. Perspective.
Yeah. Well, fair by itself is a matter of perspective. I mean, what's fair? Generally, when people talk about fair, they're talking about comparisons. And we talked about earlier how you shouldn't be comparing yourself to others. Right. So don't worry if life is fair. Worry about what you have, what you're going to have, what you're going to do, and what you're doing. Fair doesn't enter into it.
Live with the 3 E's: energy, enthusiasm, empathy, and the 3 F's: faith, family, and friends.
It's a very important concept. The energy, enthusiasm, and empathy are what bring the family and friends to you. It's, putting out that positive energy, being a positive person, a cheerful person, for lack of a better term. It builds your family. It builds your friends. And faith is all up to you. And that also goes back to what we were saying before. You have the power to change things. You can have faith.
Especially in yourself.
Yes. Faith in yourself. Faith in others. People hear faith, they automatically think religion, but faith is a lot bigger than that.
The next slide says, remember that you are too blessed to be stressed. Think about what you're grateful for.
That's also another very important concept. We get stressed because of what we don't have, what we're trying to get, what we think we need, what we may actually need. And those are what causes stress. It's things we can't control. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you already have. That stress tends to dissipate. And be grateful for what you do have. Because no matter how much you feel you don't have, there are people with less. I mean, especially here in the United States, people talk about, the 1%, the 1%. Well, if you look at it on a global scale, everybody in the United States is in the global 1%. The poorest person in the U.S. has more than 99% of the world. And we have to be grateful for what we have.
Absolutely.
Now we're actually hitting our end time here. So, Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway that you want our audience to have?
The last slide kind of summarizes it all. Again, the name of this presentation is called Enjoy the Ride, and the last slide says, enjoy the ride. Remember that this is not Disney World, and you certainly don't want a fast pass. Make the most of it and enjoy the ride.
I like that. It's, a riff on the old saying, stop and smell the roses. You have to enjoy what's going on. I think the big takeaway from all of this is that you have the power. You can enjoy your life. You can be grateful for it. You can change. You can accomplish. But it's all up to you. With the right mindset and the right effort, you can do it. I think that's crucial for everybody to remember. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch us here every week on blogtalkradio.com/Success Showcase. You can also find us on the Apple Podcasts app and the iTunes Store. Remember, make this week your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.